In this video, I'm going to be talking about the hardest certification exam that I've ever taken in my life. My name is Andrew Ramdiel, and I'm the director here at Technical Institute of America. I've been a pen tester for over 12 years. I've done system administration for many years, and I was a help desk technician for quite a few years. Now, what was the hardest certification exam that I've ever taken? Well, the hardest one that I've ever taken, that I failed one part of it, and it really demoralized me and made me question myself, is this really for me? And that certification was the A+ certification. Now, to give you some perspective, I currently hold over 60 different certifications, and I've taken over 100 different exams. From high-end certifications like the CISSP and the PMP to ISSMP to even smaller ones like ITIL Foundation. I've passed all of those exams on the first try, but A+, I actually failed one part of it many years ago. So let me give you a story and some perspectives on why this certification was the hardest one in my opinion. So I remember going back 20 plus years ago when I attempted to get into IT, or else I was trying to get into IT. You know, one of the first certifications that you guys are probably going to be taking now is the A+ certification. And back in those days, it was broken into two parts, hardware and software. So the hardware part, I never really studied much for it. I had breezed through the sections in the book that covered hardware because hardware is something I'd known very well. I was a big gamer and I was taking apart my PC and putting it back together and changing my video cards. So I was pretty good at hardware. And then came the software portion, and that was a portion that I wasn't too familiar with. And I had to really study, keyword really study, in order to take the certification. And of course, I was very young and decided not to study too much, take this exam and failed it. I mean, miserable fail. It was less than half needed to pass. And at that moment, I really had questioned myself, is this something I really want to do? Do I really want to get into IT? Is this for me? Is this going to be too difficult for me? So I had to rethink my entire strategy and change my entire lifestyle. That's the part that's going to be difficult. You see, just for some perspectives, the hardest car that you'll ever drive is your first car. A story. The hardest car that I've ever driven was a Toyota Corolla. Now keep in mind, I drive a pickup truck right now, and I've driven one for many years. But that Corolla was very difficult. In fact, that Corolla was the hardest thing I've ever parked because it was the first time I was trying to park a car. That Corolla was the hardest car I've ever tried to keep in a lane because it was the first time I ever sat behind a wheel of a car in order to keep it in a lane. When you start out your IT career, when you start out studying for certification exam, the hardest thing about accomplishing that certification exam is the modifications that we have to make in our current lifestyles in order to study and commit to taking these exams. Here in the world of IT, getting certifications is not something new or it's something unique. In fact, many other professions, they have to get certification, but in IT, we got a lot of certifications to get. In fact, I tell people I got 60 certifications, and it's not uncommon for some of them, for some older folks or folks that's been in the industry in a while to say, well, Andrew, I only got 30 or 40, and that's still a lot. So when you start out to take your A+ certification exam, you're going to find it difficult to make the time to commit to studying. You're going to have to modify things in your lifestyle in order to commit to studying for this exam. You're going to have to give up something. You may have to give up overtime at work. You may have to give up time with your family. You may have to give up time from watching your favorite TV show. But you have to look at these as an opportunity cost. And what I mean by that is, if you give up overtime at your workplace right now or time with your family, you know that the time you're giving up to study for these certification exams is going to make you better. It's going to increase opportunities and open new doors so you can get that better job and get into the industry that you really want to get into, if you like IT, that is. So why was A+ difficult? Because it required a lifestyle change that I wasn't accustomed to. You know, you come out of high school, and in most high school exams, you may only study for a day or two to take it. And now to study for a certification exam, it takes weeks or even months to study for. And that's the modification. That's the part that it's hard to come to terms with. And for you to go out and change your lifestyle for months on end Because sometimes if you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of experience, it may take 1 or 2 months to study for this exam. So now you got to give up 1 or 2 hours every day of your life for 1 or 2 months. And that's the difficult part. That's the part that a lot of people have a lot of problem with. And that's the problem. That's the part I had a problem with. But you know what motivated me? After I had failed the first exam, I realized I didn't study much. The second exam, I didn't study much. In fact, I had only studied for about a week or two, and I had put in a few hours here and there. So obviously I failed miserably. But then I got upset. I got really, really mad that I failed. I went back, I rethink of what I was doing. I studied for another 3 weeks, but I'm talking about 3 to 4 hours a day. Not to mention my dad was pretty upset that I failed and he had to pay again because I had no money at that time. So I really studied well, and then I went back and I passed it. So, and then it gets easier. You see, once you get into that groove of studying and making the commitment to study and putting in the time and letting your family members know that, you know what, I'm taking the certification, is gonna be better for all of us. Then every one of your family member can commit, even your work, maybe the place you work, and can commit and help you and give you the extra time you need. So my point is this: yes, A plus was difficult. Why? Not because of the content, because of the lifestyle modification. But as your career is going to progress and you're going to take more and more certification, you get into the groove of doing things. And you start to understand your lifestyle, and you start to make your own commitments, and you start to understand, okay, how do I register for a test? How do I study for a test? How do I make time for the exam? And as time progresses, you're going to see it's going to get a whole lot easier. Okay, guys, hopefully you found this video pretty helpful. Hopefully it gives you a little bit of motivation. You know what? If you failed one of your A+ exam, don't worry about it. Stay motivated throughout your career. I don't want to, this is going to sound bad, but throughout your career, don't be down if you fail an exam. Trust me, I've failed many exams, but I've never been down about it. When you fail, if you fail an exam, don't get sad. Get mad, get upset, try it again, study harder, and I'm sure you're going to accomplish all the certification exams that you want in your career. Okay, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel. I'm going to be making some more contents about how to get certified and different types of certification. And I hope to see you in the next video.